What is happening, everybody? It's Spark666 and welcome to today's episode of my Team Career series. We are now at episode 3 after a somewhat troublesome race that happened at the Spanish Grand Prix. We qualified in P10 thanks to a penalty, but unfortunately we couldn't quite nail the points. It ended up spinning at the last part of the race. So if you've been following the series so far, then do hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell icon as well to be notified of future videos. That would help me out massively and makes producing that content a little bit more worthwhile. So going along into a few changes that I'm going to be making for this episode. As you'll see now, I will be having a new livery this time because the old one that I had before, it wasn't symmetrical, it didn't really look great to look at, so I decided to change to a new scheme with the same colours that I've got there. Now, looking at our funds and everything, I think we have about what I'm going to be doing really is really aerodynamics and chassis is where I need focus. And let's be honest, because I haven't got many upgrades there, I am going to be investing a lot more, I think, money into those particular departments so we can get those upgrades really going. Because power and durability are good at we are. We should fill up our activities there. We have got Monaco coming up now. And, oh, and a nice little achievement there for me as well, which is always nice.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. Upgrades to your facilities seem to have stalled. Is there no more room for improvement, or are you prioritising other areas?
Well, I think naturally the way this series goes, you have a lot of upgrades coming in at the beginning, so I could say we invest heavily in our staff, which is true, but I'm going to go for the right answer.
Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development?
Not really in reality, to be honest. I have to probably done one interview that may have boosted his skill set, but I think to say either one of the right and the bottom is untrue, so we're going to have to say left and push him a bit harder.
Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team?
No. But in all things considered, it is a two-man team here. While I am owning it, there's two drivers behind it. We got to show some support from Matsushita. So we're going to go for the safe answer because we don't want to piss him off at all, no.
Your team's been picking up points fairly consistently. Do you think you'll be able to become a challenge to the top teams in the future?
Can you imagine? We're only into our third race, Will. Very optimistic there, mate. So, no, we're not going to be able to do that.
What are your predictions for your team going into this season?
Yeah, challenging top 3, getting podiums. Completely realistic. No.
Well, thanks so much, as ever, for your time. It's hugely appreciated.
I gotta ask from me to you, Mr. Buxton, what you been smoking, mate? I mean, I know you see a lot of potential in our team, and that's obviously flattering and all, but to challenge the top guys right now, not with the way our infrastructure is currently set, so we've got a lot of work to do.
You're not currently in a rivalry. Sooner or later, you'll probably be asked by the media who you consider to be your rival. Think carefully who you select, as while you will receive a claim for beating them, you'll lose a claim if you fail to do so.
Okay, so looking at our pace in the car, we are about the 9th fastest team, so pick someone in Alfa Romeo, Haas or Williams and we should be able to at least give them a match in terms of rivalries. If we're picking Latifi, I think we're going to have to go with Nicholas Latifi. I think Latifi would be a good one to beat. But he did finish 7th in Hungary, so this game is really another matter in terms of driver ability, so we'll see where it goes from there. Now, into practice in Monaco. I can't say we have much of a setup lined for this track. We haven't really got much in terms of mechanical grip, so this is going to be an absolute mad. Just seeing there, I mean, how late I had to brake while on the acclimatization program. Just went a little bit wide. I'm just very happy that at least I made the corners, and this is going to be a really tough track because all we've got is power and durability. We haven't got much in terms of aerodynamic or chassis prowess, so they've really got to be the focus of our development, I think, throughout the year, because we'll have other races like Singapore, and then we'll have Hungary, maybe even Silverstone as well, where you need good mechanical grip. This car has nada. I mean, as you can see, I mean, during the speeds, I mean, I don't know what you guys are like playing this game, but I have to be so conservative just going through the brakes and everything, and even if I had to run with some sort of limited sort of damage assist, because it's so easy to just whack a barrier and then you'll have a whole world of understeer there. Thankfully, we managed to avoid those barriers right now as we go into the Rascast to complete the last part of the racing strategy setup. Set up the sort of program so we can get the resource points. We've gotten down to the end of the start-finish line there, and that's basically it. We got enough score, I think, to get the maximum mark, so we're not going to waste too much time on this track, because as you'll see, it's an absolute killer. And looking down in the times, I mean, we're not exactly going to get fastest because we've got we don't have a great car around here, to be blunt. We just don't have a great car, and the chassis is just nowhere near where we want it to be, unfortunately.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
Pierre Gasly. I think that's a little optimistic there, so we're going to cross our fingers and go with Antonio Giovinazzi. Maybe a better one to beat.
It's the start of the season. How do you think things are going to go for you? Spain,
but the S is silent. Well, for this race, I think. We could put like sort of like a meme-esque answer, but in the meantime, we're going to plug the team. We're going to say we're a great team. How can we fail?
Great. Well, that's everything.
So there we are there, on to practice 2, and when I actually drove this session, this one was a little bit tricky. I'm thinking you're going to find out very, very closely as it went out onto the qualifying simulation. What you're about to see is quite simply mistake after mistake, with just a world of pain with the same goddamn curb that tries to kill you as when you so much as touch it. It really was a bad session for us, and there we go, a nice spinada as well, and look at that, we just crashed out. We just crashed out. It was just that, like, Spain, but the S is silent. I mean, practice 2 was basically a write-off for us. I mean, let's be real. And what I ended up doing eventually for practice 3, I wanted the easy way to them resource points, so I decided to sort out the damage. I mean, I had to turn damage simulation effectively off because it was I just can't do it, guys. I just can't do it. We even gave up and just went straight to quick practice just so we can get the hard stuff out of the way. I know I'm being a bit poor in terms of just sort of flagging and giving up, but I wanted the resource points, more importantly, to upgrade the team. And I can't see us really achieving much during that session because I just could not get to grips with the car. So we are taking the easy route to resource points and moving the team forward. I don't think we're going to get everything. Let's say no, we're not going to get everything. So we are trying to go for as much as possible there. Unfortunately, that one didn't quite go to work. So we're going to try it again. And thankfully it does, but we still wasted about 20-something minutes of time. And that's as good as it gets, really, for free practice around Monaco. It's just not really great, to be honest. And now we go into qualifying here with not much in terms of expectations or optimism. We'll at least get the resource points. I mean, we have just over 1,300 points now, and finally some developmental boosts that should really be helping us coming into upgrading these things later on. I don't know how these developmental boosts, I don't know whether they wear off at some point, so maybe that makes you a bit more careful as to how you use your resources. But obviously the more of these you can get, the better. And I have a thing, the amount of developmental boosts I've seen recently, I mean, there's been so many that have been either reliability or powertrain related. There's not really much upgrades around in terms of aerodynamics and chassis, which is all the stuff that I really need, especially on a track like this, which demands the highest amount of cornering stability. It doesn't demand power, it may demand durability. I mean, well, we are going to go for a chassis upgrade like you saw there, and we still have about 800 resource points available, so we are going to, I think we're going to pitch ourselves another upgrade when it's available. We'd love to do aerodynamic, but I think we've reached department capacity. So the only other thing I could probably think to upgrade, if we're going one for the chassis, if there's something within power to upgrade. But no, we're deciding to bail out of that one. And just focus on what's ahead. It's not going to be a great one, guys, in all honesty. So let's just cross our fingers, see how we get on. I think I should probably change the overalls as well, just so they match with the car as well. But I think if we get out of Q1 here, that'll at least be some achievement. And thankfully the curb doesn't kill us, like it's been doing all the way through practice 2. I think we actually had to lift off there. And we understeer massively. And usually second gear is the best gear to turn that with it. I may have to go down to first now, just so I can get the car slowed down enough in time, just so it counters the understeer in a way. So we put one time on shows at the moment. It's not exactly fast, so we just power through to the end when the track is rubbered in a little bit. Just we're going to go again and see if we can get into the 1:10s, which I think should get us out. I know it's not the fastest time in the world, but it's my career mode. I think it's got to be at my kind of difficulty because it was the most. I'm not the best driver in the world, but it's got to be one of those. You got to do it for fun, and that's what I think what doing videos on YouTube should be about. Kind of like my new partner, Owen141. I think if you see him in his videos, he pop up, and you definitely check them out. I've been watching his my team career mode stuff, and he's on similar sort of trajectory as me in terms of where the career is going. So if you follow me and fancy another guy who's brilliant at my career stuff, I think definitely give the guy a follow. He's really nice chap. It's really nice videos popping out. He's getting better every single time. So go give the guy a follow. It's really nice stuff. But anyway, we get back to our lap now. It's going on to, I think this is our third attempt at trying to get through, and we just about keep the car rolled into the chicane there. I think that was probably our best sort of turning there. And let's see a little bit more understeer. We just don't have the mechanical grip, or aerodynamic grip rather, to make this work. We even skipped the corner. There just so we get as much as we can get away with in terms of time. The game hasn't pulled us up on it yet, which I think is good. I mean, track limits of Cody's, I think they're about as consistent as has in 2019 with Rich Energy. So with that, it looks like we just about get through. We have done it. It is a victory for us. We have gotten through into Q1 for the Monaco Grand Prix, which I think was by far the worst car in terms of chassis, in terms of aerodynamics as well. It's a small win for us, I gotta be honest, guys. It's a small win. But I'm not so sure how the race is going to pan out the same way. I think we're going to do another lap to see how far we can at least get up. And the way my lap went, I left it out until the very end, until I went out and put in a lap time to wait for the track to rubber in. Unfortunately, we understeered there through the right-hander. We're coming through now into the tunnel, where we're down currently on my best. Unfortunately, my earlier time was only good enough for 16, so we're not exactly doing ourselves many favours by going slower here. We go down into the chicane. It's very nicely handled, but we're still behind on our delta. I don't think this is going to be the one that's actually going to get through us in any case. And we go down to our favourite chicane. Then, oh, we've spun, and that's it. That's the end of our session, and we don't make it through into Q3. But we start in 16th place, which kind of speaks volumes in a way about how our car's actually going to go around here. I'm really not feeling confident for this race, and thankfully we at least beat our rival in terms of qualifying, so we're ahead of him there. Antonio Giovinazzi, who's slightly coming of age now at Alfa Romeo. It's a good thing now we're actually at team level 5, which means we can add a new sponsor to our team coming out after the end of this race, which is good for us. But however, acclaim can all change when things happen at the Monaco Grand Prix.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning... Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Lando Norris, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Vettel, Fernando Alonso, and Esteban Ocon, Leclerc, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Joker, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Matsushita, Mazepin, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
And with that, I mean, it was very Noah's Ark at the top of the grid, and we're starting P16. We're going to go from mediums now onto the softs to give us, I think, our best chance of salvaging something from this race as the 5 lights go on. And now for a long time, and we're underway. We get a nice initial start, bypassing Kimi Raikkonen and the Alfa Romeo to come down to the first corner. We'll come down to Sandoval. No heroics are there, Jeff, so don't worry about that. And we've been overtaken by our rival Giovinazzi. I think we've fallen down to about 17th place with George Russell right behind us there on the soft tyres in the Williams. Through the left-handers into the Casino Square section. And now down to the end of the first sector, we're coming up to the infamous hairspin, and we absolutely send it in front of the Alfa Romeos there. We've just done the 2 of them. We little touch there with Yuki Tsunoda and the Alfa Tauri. I think I actually changed the damage to being somewhat reduced, so we are going to feel some consequences if we really overstep the mark. But we've fallen now behind Yuki Tsunoda. We've lost our rhythm somewhat, and he gets away by over a second already, so he's already broken DRS zone for us. And we've got to defend now from the Alfa Romeos on what is by far our least favourite track, I think, just to drive generally on the Formula 1 games. As we go through the chicane, I do manage to get into something of a rhythm here, and I cut the chicane there enough just so it doesn't yeet me into a barrier. So it's not too bad there. As we go through in the Rascas now, Hamilton sets the fastest lap, which was always going to happen seeing it being the first lap of the race. We are behind Yuki Tsunoda now in the superior AlphaTauri, come up to the end of lap 2 there. And things were pretty much status quo going for the first few laps of the race. We tried to stay with Tsunoda by the time the DRS zones are activated. Through the slower sections, as you can see, we're actually being able to catch up somewhat. But in terms of traction, in terms of mid to low speed grip, the AlphaTauri is just better than us. We followed them through the tunnel section now. And like I said, he's barely even in view, Tsunoda, and even though he's not over a second ahead of us, so we're still within a second of him rather, it's just show how strange the Constantina is on this track. They seem so close, but yet so far. As we go down into the swimming pool section and into the Rascas now, we are behind Yuki Tsunoda. Doesn't look like we're close enough now to attempt an overtake, as the back end steps out on us, compromises our entry into the main straight to come up to Sandoval. DRS is over, as you can see, because of the lack of the traction I've got. Tsunoda just completely eats us for breakfast, it seems. But this exit seems a little bit better now, coming up to lap 7. It just wasn't. We just spent the last few laps eventually stuck behind Tsunoda, unfortunately with nowhere else really to go. We've come up to Sandoval, and this is just one of the problems about Monaco, I find. Even when the game is just transitioning to a wheel, you just can't overtake really on this on the track unless you absolutely yeet them like you do in the first lap and you manage to stay with them somewhat. I don't know whether you feel the effects of the dirty air more in this game, or I'm just not quite there yet in terms of just general skill, to be honest. But in any case, we're still staying behind Tsunoda. We're still understeering someone. The AlphaTauri just seems to be rocketing away from us, and it won't be long now. I think we've fallen into the clutches of the Alfa Romeo there. I think that's Raikkonen behind us there, and he's so close to us. That's really was bad from us, and then we just overshot it and nearly clamped the wall, and now Raikkonen's just steamed around the outside of us, and we've actually...
Okay, focus. We need to stay on...
Is that Hamilton? Yeah, that is Hamilton out there. So I'm suspecting he must have come in on... He must have started the race on softs and now he's pitted. So that overtake doesn't really mean much. But it was a very easy overtake for which is hands down the best car. Well, at least we get a free sampling of DRS. But as you will see, Tsunoda has just romped away from us. Unfortunately, we have got not really much else we can do. Sonoda has just romped away, and I've just completely lost my rhythm at this point. Just see there, just the amount of braking I had to do, and just a massive overshoot of understeer there for the Raskas. And there we have the two Alfa Romeos behind me now, hustling me for the next position here. So what I think we're going to do, just to help to kind of take the pressure off me here, is that we are going to box early for our strategy, because I think the tyres can take the extra pounding, the softs. We're going to come in early and see what we can do in terms of undercutting, or probably pulling a gap to the Alfa Romeos, probably undercutting the Alfa Tauri somewhat. And he's about 7 seconds ahead of us, so let's just see what happens here. So we need a pit stop. Hang on a minute, I never asked for a front wing change. No! No, don't fix the front wing. Let me get back out there. I never even asked for it. No.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a
I'll tell you what that was.
I'll
I'll tell you what it probably was. I probably got damage as soon as I tapped the wall out there. I was probably from the chicane. I left the settings on to actually fix the car, and we've just lost even more on time. We're stuck behind the Williams now of Nicholas Latifi. This is an absolute mare for us here at Monaco. Unfortunately, we're gambling a lot on Monaco. We're betting on black, and I think it's coming out red, if that's an analogy. I'm not quite sure, but either way, we are finding ourselves unlucky. And to put the even more analogies there, I don't think our car is actually playing with a full deck in terms of its upgrades and whatnot, but we are now stuck behind the Williams, and I think the dirt of the air is whatever is just lingering us here. We are right behind. We got the fresher tyres, so we can stay with them, and we can at least get an overtake coming out into Sandoval. And oh, we just hit the car there, and we got a little bit more damage. Oh, we've lost it. No, we crashed. We crashed the car in Monaco. Unfortunately, it's just gone badly wrong for us. It's just like in practice 2, that absolutely killed us there. We've got to have some consequence at the moment. So this race we've lost, unfortunately. We have retired from Monaco. Bad race for APS Spark.
That's it then for another nail-biting Monaco Grand Prix. We were on the edge of our seats the whole time, but they've come through to take a stunning victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, you've put me in a bit of a tight spot today, but I think I'll go for Pierre Gasly. He kept a cool head under pressure and made the most of some difficult circumstances.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. It's
Not a great day out there today. Let's talk about what happened. It looks like your rival bested you today, doesn't it?
Yeah, he kind of did. Can't really argue against that one.
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
Now, the car wasn't there, but I can't blame the team, so I got to take the responsibility for
Why
it.
do you think you weren't as quick as your teammate today?
I'm just not that good at the game. Not really sure what else you want me to say here, Claire.
Not a great day for your teammate today. What do you think went wrong?
Just wasn't our day. Car's not there, and we've got to do a bit of digging around to find out what went wrong.
Well, that's everything.
Bit of a disaster for us this time round, but not quite like the Breaking Point disasters you sort of seen in my most recent video about Breaking Point, so be sure to give that a watch. But Giovinazzi's got ahead of us in terms of the rivalries here, and we have now, at least the team acclaim has gone up, so we can now sign a new sponsor to at least generate the income to upgrade our facilities now. But it's clear that the aerodynamics and chassis need a lot of upgrade, but we got 2.08 million there. It's not quite enough to do like an overall funding into the do like a massive fund into the facilities, but we've got to at least put our money somewhere. And I think a first step is probably putting it towards either raw aerodynamics or chassis. I think I've decided how I feel a little bit closer to the time. But I think that's it. I think that's the way to end this episode now. So if you like the video, be sure to leave a like and leave a comment below. That helps me out a lot. And do get subscribed and hit the notification bell icon for more regular Formula 1 gaming content. I'm hoping to finish my series of Breaking Point, and League Racing is starting back up again as of next week, so check that out on my Twitch channel as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. I've been Spark. You guys have been Brill. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.